Good morning. And welcome to the construction zone. You will notice that the big ladder that's usually stored in that room is out here because there's a wonderful big hole in that room that is going to be where the new lift goes. So we are just going to love up that ladder while it lives in the sanctuary, and hopefully the lift will be in shortly. Please let the lift be in shortly. So, welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming community. We love you exactly as you are, in all of your magnificent glory. And Eric, show him your amazing t-shirt there. What do you think? I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. So, let's take a minute to just breathe, become present, let go of everything out there, pretend that the air conditioning is on, and relax. As we breathe together, we let go of what was, we let go of what could be, and we give ourselves the ultimate gift of being fully present right here, right now. We calm the chatter in our minds, and we open our mind to the infinite possibilities that are presented to us in this moment. We embrace and open our hearts to let in all the love available to us right now. And we simply bask in this time apart for a while. Time apart to remember the truth of who we are, that we are spiritual beings having an incredibly interesting human experience. We say thank you for whatever space you're in this morning, whether it's here with us in the sanctuary or sharing in this experience through the ethers, as Charles Fillmore used to like to say. We're so glad you're here. And finally, we say thank you for one another, for this beloved community, so dedicated to making a difference in the world, to being that change that we wish to see in the world. We are so very grateful. And so it is. Amen. So please stand. Together, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to hurt, and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Divine Spirit. And so our heroes today are Florence Nightingale and Marie Curie. They are amazing women of science and medicine, and so we thought Healed, Whole, and Healthy would be the perfect opening song.
Healed, whole, healed, whole, healed, whole, well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole, and wealthy. I accept and I receive. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. Angels are watching over me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well. Healed, whole, healed, whole, healed, oh well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I've got love surrounding me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I've got love surrounding me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well. All is well, all is well. I am well, I am well. All is well.
We've got love surrounding us. Let's share together in our vision. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And so one of the ways that we practice is to honor wherever you are in your hugging journey. So if you want to hug, this tells us we can bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, we'll respect that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand. We will honor whatever bubble you create about yourself. Have a great time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. last time. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Wow!
That's pretty impressive.
I think there might be Hershey's Kisses next week. How many rounds was that, Jamie? About.
It was three.
So Holly sent me a post the other day that one of the Disney hugging rule at the Walt Disney theme parks. All of the characters, are told, the kids want to hug you, you hug the kids, and you don't let go until they do. So in other words, the kids get hugged as long as they need a hug. Do not do that here because my sermons would end up being 5 minutes long. Not that that would be a bad thing, I'm guessing. So I want to thank Vicki and Reverend Julie for doing a lovely service last week. And I had a great time down the street at the Church of the Brethren. It was lovely. During coffee afterwards, I got some advice on my tomatoes. So it was a very fruitful day. I can share those with you, Karen, after the service today. So it's good to be back. All right, a couple of announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Linda Longenecker and Helen Baker, so they're going to be holding sacred space for us throughout the service. I'm getting there. It's okay. And they'll be over here after the service, and then Linda Klein is going to actually be doing our joys and concerns for today. So we're really loving that the prayer chaplains are going to be a more integral part of our service moving forward. So please do read your weekly email, because we're going to have a lot of save the date stuff coming up for things that are happening in the fall. So I'm just going to stick to July again, so we're not here till 2 o'clock this afternoon. The Summer Sound Series with Gwen continues this Friday at 7 o'clock, and those are just wonderful experiences where you can come and you can lay on the floor or you can lay on a pew and just get surrounded by the music and the sounds. Our next hug meeting is next Sunday, and then immediately following the hug meeting is Unity 101. So if you are new to Unity, I highly recommend that you sign up for that. It's 2 to 3 hours. It's just a bunch of information about the Unity movement, the history of Unity, the history of this Unity, our principles, some of our structure. So it's very worthwhile to come and attend that. And also, it is the first requirement if you ever want to be a voting member of Unity of Palmyra. So please do sign up downstairs if you're going to do that, because we give you a whole booklet of information and handouts and history, and I want to make sure we have enough for everybody. And then on the 26th is Harrisburg Pride. This is an all-day Pride. It's awesome. We've been doing it now for 8 years. I'm looking at the social action, 8-ish years. And it's where we first started doing our kindness rocks, and we are now known at all of the Pride festivals for our kindness rocks. So thank you to everyone who supports that. And then, one August thing, don't forget to sign up for Source of Light August 1st and 2nd. Yes, ma'am.
Towards the end of the afternoon. because she and I are going to be setting up, but we can't stay through to the end.
Right.
So that involves tearing down and taking everything back, bringing it back here.
Yeah, and I had gotten back to Karen and told her I'll be there at the end with my van, so we should be good to go, but we could use some bodies toward the end to load up the van. So, yeah, it's an awesome pride. It's one of the biggest prides in this area, and it's just so much fun to see all the outfits, really. It's very eye-opening. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, anyway, if you can help with that, please do. That would be wonderful. And that was a badoop boop, but so it must be time for the daily word.
Good morning.
Today's daily word. Hold it a little bit closer, honey. Hold it a little bit closer. There you go.
God within me is the source of my courage. Worrisome and challenging events may leave me thinking I don't have the courage to face them. What I'm going through may feel like too much to bear. Then I remind myself that as a divine being, I have all the courage I could ever need. How I view myself has a strong bearing on how I handle moments of stress. If I tell myself I'm weak or unable to cope, that will probably be my experience. But if I affirm that God within is my power to rise above any worldly situation, I will feel courageous, empowered, and strong. Stressful moments may leave me feeling alone and afraid. With the presence and power of God within me, I realize I am never alone and need not fear. This is the source of my courage. And from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
Morning.
Good morning.
I invite you now to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, and bring your awareness in towards your heart. We think about those loved ones that are experiencing illness or pain, perhaps even devastation throughout our country, throughout our community, and through our families. Sweet Spirit, Almighty God, beloved Lord, we lift these concerns to you. And silently now we bring any individual prayers to be lifted up to you. And we also appreciate the healing that has taken place, the comfort that is received from prayer. And we are grateful for that, for the healing that takes place in our bodies, in our hearts, in our souls. And we celebrate joys as well, births, relationships that are healed. We bring that all before our divine spirit, that which can heal all. And we are blessed with that. And in your name we pray. Amen.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make it a better place. With my own two hands, make it a kinder place. With my own two hands, with my own two hands. With my own two hands, I can make peace on earth with my own two hands, and I can clean up the earth with my own two hands, and I can reach out to you with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. Gonna make it a brighter place with my own two hands. Gonna make it a safer place with my own two hands. Gonna help the human race with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. And I can hold you in my own two hands, and I can comfort you with my own two hands. But you got to use your own two hands, use your own two hands, use your own two hands. With your own two hands, and with our own two hands, with my own two hands.
All right, let's dive into today's heroes. So the format we've been following is I'm going to share a little history about both of these women, and then we're going to look at what can we learn from them. And just as a heads up, so next Sunday, we're going to be looking at heroes of the civil rights movement. So we're going to be looking at Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, and Rosa Parks, the trifecta of courage during that time. And I didn't even realize that apparently July 17th is John Lewis's birthday. Is that? So that is just one of those divine order dates that just happened. I'd love to take credit for it, but it just happened. All right, so Florence Nightingale has been a hero of mine for many, many, many years. When I first, I think I've shared with you before that my undergraduate degree is in biology, but I started out in pre-med, and then I just really hated calculus. I just have to say it did me in. So switched to bio, but I was one of my heroes, and one of the reasons that I initially pursued pre-med was because of Florence Nightingale. She was an amazing woman. So she was often called the lady with the lamp. She was a nurse, she was a leader, she wrote over 150 books and pamphlets and reports on health-related issues. She's also credited with creating one of the first versions of the pie chart. Apparently she was quite the statistician. She loved numbers, another reason I love her. So she was born on May 12th, 1820. She was actually born in Florence, Italy. Although her parents were from England, they were traveling, and so she was born in Italy. She and her sister were both named after the cities that they were born in. I can't even pronounce her sister's name, so Florence got the better deal in that. Her family was very wealthy. She was homeschooled by her father, and she was expected, as were the girls at that time, to get married at a very young age. However, she had her own ideas. And when she was a teenager, she really believed that she had received a calling from God to help the poor and the sick. Now, at the time, nurses were not the profession that we think of now. They basically did cleaning, they would maybe change bandages, but they had no medical training and were not very highly regarded. So when Florence told her parents that she wanted to become a nurse, they did not really like that idea, and that's putting it mildly. But she refused to marry per her father's wishes, and eventually he allowed her to go to Germany for 3 months to study at the Fliedner Hospital and School for Lutheran deaconesses. So after she finished that program, she went to Paris for extra training with the Sisters of Mercy. It was interesting, I went down a couple of rabbit holes when I was researching Florence, and one of them was the history of nursing. And one of the things that she did, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, was that she brought consistency to the training and the level of care that nurses gave. Because at the time, the level of care you received totally depended on the hospital you were at. There was no consistency. And so I thought it was interesting that she studied with the Sisters of Mercy, because one of the comments is that some of the best care you could get were at the Catholic hospitals where the nuns were also the nurses. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So by the time she was 33, she was really making a name for herself already in the nursing community. So she went back to England in 1853 and became the superintendent and manager of a hospital for gentlewomen in London. We're going to assume that means white and wealthy, but so here's where her life gets interesting. So when the Crimean War began in 1854, the British were totally unprepared for the number of sick and injured soldiers. I think it was one of those wars where they thought they'd be in and out. Didn't work out that way. So there were a lack of medical supplies, they were overcrowded, they were dirty, and so people started to complain that their soldiers weren't being taken care of, and they were putting it out in the newspapers that the army wasn't taking care of their men. So the Secretary of War was Sidney Herbert, and this kind of speaks to Florence already making a name for herself, because he reached out to her and said, would you put together a group of soldiers and a group of nurses and go treat the wounded soldiers? So on November 4th, 1854, Florence Nightingale and 38 nurses arrived at the British camp outside of Constantinople. Now, if you watched any movies about Florence Nightingale, I think I've probably watched all of them, the visual of her marching in with 38 nurses is pretty astounding. So when they got there, because nurses didn't really have that great of a reputation, the doctors weren't really very welcoming, and part of it was because, well, we don't want to work with these women, right? However, they quickly realized that they needed their help because the patient load became simply overwhelming. So the nurses brought in supplies, they brought in nutritious food. Florence was way ahead of her time in recognizing the effect that diet had on our health. Like, we take that for granted now. It was unknown at that time. And cleanliness. She had also made the correlation between the hospitals being dirty and the rags being dirty and people dying from infection. So they got in there and they scrubbed and cleaned and opened windows and opened doors and got in fresh air and gave them healthy food. So she was known for wandering through the halls of the hospital at night, checking on the soldiers with her lamp, and that's why she became known as the Lady with the Lamp. So within 6 months of Florence and her nurses being there, the death rate went down from 40%, think about that, 4 out of every 10 soldiers that entered the hospital died, to 2%. That was the impact that she had. So when she returned from the war, she had really, really made a name for herself. And so she was actually invited by Queen Victoria and Prince Albert to share her experiences and what she had learned. They were so impressed that they formed a royal commission to improve the health of the British Army. So again, she wasn't just concerned about treating people who were sick. She was trying to help people get healthy so that they wouldn't get sick. Again, we look at that now as the holistic, proactive approach to healthcare. It was unknown at that time. So she was so skilled with data and numbers that in 1858, she was elected as the first woman member of the Royal Statistical Society. Did you even know that the Royal Statistical Society existed? Well, she was so good with her numbers and her pie charts. So she helped set up the Army Medical College in Chatham in 1859, and that was to teach people her healthier medical practices. The same year, she published a book called Notes on Nursing, What It Is and What It Is Not. So her book gives all sorts of advice on good patient care and safe hospital environments. She also, again, ahead of her time, recognized that a calm, peaceful, clean environment was much more conducive to healing than the chaotic and not clean environments that she was usually exposed to. So in 1860, the Nightingale Training School at St. Thomas's Hospital was officially opened. Now, in her later life, she became somewhat of an invalid. They're a little amorphous about what the illness was, but she was virtually bedridden for the later part of her life. But it didn't stop her because she wrote copiously and was still an advocate from her bed of safe nursing practices. So she died at the age of 90, which tells me that she practiced what she preached. Even though she was ill, she lived to the ripe age of 90. 2 years after her death, the International Committee of the Red Cross created the Florence Nightingale Medal that is given to excellent nurses every 2 years. And International Nurses Day has been celebrated on her birthday since 1965. She was an amazing woman. She also had an impact in the United States. Some of the very first official nursing schools that were set up using what was called the Nightingale model. Up until that time, there were nurse training programs, but basically the nurses were unskilled young women who were basically used for free labor. And Florence was aware of this and basically said, no, we need to start treating these women like the professionals that they're going to be. And so they started receiving actual training and were given the respect that they deserved. So, Florence Nightingale, personal hero. Marie Curie. So I'm going to jump to the very end, and then I'll go back to to her history. She was actually buried in a lead-lined coffin. If you're familiar with Marie Curie, she and her husband, Pierre, won the Nobel Prize for discovering several radioactive elements. They didn't realize at the time the effect that radiation had on them, and when she died, she was so radioactive, they had to lead-line her coffin. So yeah, let me go back to the beginning now. I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit, so that if I lose you between now and then, we went to the end. All right, so she was born in 1867 in Warsaw, Poland, and she was actually born Maria. It wasn't until she moved to Paris that she changed her name to Marie. After her mother died, her father couldn't support her anymore as the youngest of five, and so as was typical in the time, she was kind of farmed out. She became a governess, and she was reading and studying on her own time because she had, the writer said, such a thirst for knowledge. So in 1891, her sister invited her to move in with her in Paris so that she could go to university. She entered the Sorbonne University in Paris, where she read physics and mathematics, clearly light reading, and she discovered that she loved those subjects. So in 1894, she met Pierre Curie, a scientist working in the city, and they married about a year later. So they became research workers at the School of Chemistry and Physics in Paris, and that's where they began what won them the Nobel Prizes. She actually ended up winning 2, in trying to figure out how uranium gave off invisible rays. Right? Again, there's a lot of awesome movies about her, and it's really interesting what she and Pierre had to go through to get credibility on this. Now we think of them as pioneers in this field, but at the time it was so brand new and people were like, what's this radiation thing you speak of, right? But they knew it was there, and they spent years and years and years just really distilling it down. And a lot of her work was recognizing there's a mineral called pitchblende. And if you watch the movie, it's fascinating because it was pure pitchblende was very expensive, and they didn't have the money to do that, right? Because they were kind of off on their own doing this. Well, what she figured out is that the actual radioactive element was in what they discarded from the pitchblende. And so she reached out to the quarries and said, can I have your leavings? And they just gave it to her because she had figured out that's where the radioactive element actually was, right? Brilliant. So she was convinced that she had found a new element, and of course other scientists kind of poo-pooed her. I did really appreciate, as I was researching her life, what a true partnership she had with Pierre. Because again, remember at that time it was really patriarchal and there were not a lot of women in science, but she and Pierre had a true partnership and they worked together. And when he was up for the Nobel Prize, he insisted that she get it with him. But I'm I'm jumping ahead. Anyway, they came up with the new element polonium, which is atomic number 84. So then they figured out that the liquid left behind was still radioactive. And they realized that they had to do it, distill even more and more and more to get down to that radioactive element. And what they discovered was radium, which we now know is important in so many of our medical devices. So the work that was involved was very heavy, very physically demanding. In order to get down to that little teeny tiny little atom of radium, they literally needed to process tons and tons of pitch blende. And the two of them did it almost alone. They had a couple of helpers. What they didn't realize at the time was how detrimental the radiation was to their health. So they began to feel kind of sick and nauseous. Eventually, they figured it out. In 1902, Marie isolated radium and its atomic weight of 225.93. So in 1903, Marie and Pierre were awarded the Nobel Prize jointly with Henry, I'm going to say this really badly, Rick, Becquerel? Is that right? I'm acceding to our French-speaking friend. And then that same year, Marie got her doctorate in physics. Again, very unusual for the time. Now, interestingly, for as sick as they were getting from the radiation, what killed Pierre was he got struck down by a horse and cart in the street. And this was just devastating to Marie. But she kept working, and actually she succeeded him of chair as professor at the Sorbonne, as well as lecturing where he had led off. And I think that really speaks to the credibility she had earned at that point. So all of her work, this time in chemistry, led to a second Nobel Prize in 1911. The Sorbonne built the first radium institute with 2 laboratories, one for the study of radioactivity, which Marie directed, again, very unusual, and the other for biological research into the treatment of cancer. So one of the ways that Marie really made her mark was during the First World War, she realized that radium could be used as X-ray, right, to X-ray soldiers on the battlefront. And so she and her daughter developed these small mobile X-ray machines that were called Petit Curie, little Curies. And they took them to the battlefront. She was the director of the Red Cross Radiological Service, and she just pounded the pavement in Paris asking for money and supplies and vehicles. And so in October of 1914, the first Petit Curies were ready to go out, and they went to the front line where they were doing triage with these soldiers and took X-rays to locate fractures and bullets and shrapnel. So after the war, she continued to work as a researcher and a teacher and head of the laboratory. There was a whole page of the awards and the prizes that she won. She was also the honorary recipient of honorary degrees from all around the world. And she passed away on July 4th, 1934 in France. She was only 66 years old. She died from aplastic pernicious anemia, which all of you medical folks know was probably caused by all the years of exposure to radiation. And when she died, again, her body was so radioactive that they had to put her in a lead-lined coffin. It was interesting, they didn't realize that. It was in 1995 that they wanted to bury her. I said this wrong this morning when I was telling Ken, not the Parthenon, that's in Greece, but the Pantheon, which is in Paris, which is where famous French people get buried. And so they wanted to exhume her coffin to bury her there to honor all of her accomplishments. And it wasn't until they took the coffin out that they realized it was completely lined in lead. And before they exhumed it, they had Geiger counters at the ready to see how radioactive she still was. Luckily, she wasn't too radioactive at that point. The lead had done its work, and she is now buried in a place of honor. So what I love about both of these women is, first and foremost, their dedication to their work. Both of these women were passionate about their work, and not just for their work's sake, but they were both passionate about their work being used for good. So Florence didn't just come up with a totally new model of nursing so that she would become famous. She did it to save lives and to create a profession that is now treated with dignity and respect. Maybe not even as much as they should be at this point, but it was really interesting. One of my honorary nephews who lives in Alabama is a male nurse and has won multiple awards for his incredible nursing skill. Well, when I was researching nursing, at least in the United States, the original nursing schools would not admit men. I mean, the men wanted to, and they wouldn't admit them. Apparently, it was for women only, right? So isn't that kind of interesting? A little bit of reverse discrimination there, right? All I can tell you is, if I'm ever in need of a really good nurse, I want Michael by my side. So I'm really glad that they are admitting men now into nursing schools. So something to think about. So they were dedicated. They were also incredibly persistent. They did not let gender roles or stereotypes, they didn't let societal or cultural norms get in the way of them doing what they felt called to do. Florence felt that her call to nursing was a God-given call, and she was not going to let her father or marriage or anything get in the way of her answering that call. And look at what Marie did with what she discovered. She created X-ray machines to help soldiers at the battlefront. So they were dedicated, and they were persistent, and they were brilliant. Both of these women ended up being so incredibly educated, again, way beyond where most women of their time period were allowed to be educated, but they didn't let it hold them back. And both of them eventually became very ill, but even during their illness, they persisted right up until the end, trying to make a difference. So they were dedicated, and they were persistent, and they were brilliant, and they made a huge difference in the world. Florence Nightingale and Marie Curie. I highly recommend reading up on them yourselves or watching some of the wonderful movies that have been made about them. Amen.
We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready for love. You can change the world one heart at a time. You can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready to love you. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world.
And so I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, and take a nice, big, deep, all the way down into your belly breath. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Shake out your arms and your hands. And allow yourself to sit softly with your head held high. Your spine straight. As we breathe into our bodies, as we breathe into every muscle and cell, remembering that to breathe is to inspire. Every breath is the act of inspiration. And so on our next breath, we breathe consciously into our heart space. And we focus on that area surrounding our heart. We might even want to place a hand over our heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the pulse. Feel the gentle beating of the center of your wisdom and courage and love. With our next breath, we soften and open our heart. And we listen. We listen to the wisdom found there. Like Florence, we listen to hear what is calling us to do. Who are we here to be? What is ours to do? What difference are we willing to make? Not letting anything get in our way. We don't need to completely redefine nursing or discover a radioactive element. We can make a difference simply by being love, by sharing kindness, by seeing everyone we meet as a hero on their journey, while honoring our own. Centered in love, we can change the world, one heart at a time. And the first heart to be changed is our own.
I can change the world, one heart at a time. I can change the world, one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready for love. Ooh. We can change the world, one heart at a time. We can change the world, one heart at a time. We can change the world.
I know you don't want to open your eyes, right? So this is the part of our service where we do not pass a basket. We just take this time to say thank you for your ongoing generosity, for your support of the very important work of this community. If you have any paper you'd like to give, there's a basket in the back, and then there's always ways to send it through the ethers electronically. We are so, so grateful. I will give you more of a lift update at the hug meeting next week, but also thank you to those who have donated to the lift, who have loaned us money for the lift. We are so looking forward to having the lift, and we couldn't do it without the generosity of this community. So thank you.
Of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up. High like the waves, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains, bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up. I will rise 1,000 times. And we'll rise up, high like the waves, we'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Wow. Okay, so we just felt that in our very cells, just so you know. That was absolutely gorgeous. So you can stand back up now for the Unity Blessing. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I stand for love.
I stand for peace. I stand for joy and for release. For what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope. I stand for you. You know our world is in great pain. She needs our loving care again. And there are those who fail to see what we have done and what we need. There is a cost for every act, and now there is no turning back. We burn a bridge, we bang a drum. It's time to rise, the time has come. If you're thinking it's not urgent, that we've got more time to kill, if we're not the ones that change things, well then heaven's sake, who will? So I will move and I will climb that mountain one step at a time. I won't be swayed, I will not stop until we've made it to the top, where we will stand for love and peace. We'll stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true. I'll stand for hope, we'll stand for you, for what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope, I stand for you.
As the light of God we shine. As the love of God we embrace. As the power of God we stand in truth. As the presence of God we radiate love. Wherever we are the divine in expression, and all is well with our souls. So go forth this week and be inspired. Listen to that calling. What is yours to do? And I promise we'll have air conditioning next week. Council, can you stay up here for just a quick second before we go downstairs? Bye-bye, our YouTube and Facebook friends. We love you so much. Have a wonderful week, everybody.